have reached the starting gate. It's post time. Cold front, the favorite comes forward. And they're into the stretch. Cold front put to the deck. Cold front does it again. Fires in the field in the Amsterdam.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and Thursday's Spa Baby race, weather permitting, will be on the turf. 5.5 furlongs. These are 2-year-old fillies. It's a maiden special weight to conclude the card, race number 10. Let's take a look at this field. Wesley Ward is a first-time starter. You know what that means, Nicole? It means the horse is likely going to be live.
Absolutely. Wesley Ward, we'll talk about his prowess with 2-year-olds in a moment, but he's one of these people who just knows how to place horses, which accounts for that success with first-time starters. This is an interesting race. It's a pretty even split between some experienced runners and some first-time starters, and it's interesting how the luck of the draw worked out with most of the experienced horses in the inside posts and the first-time starters toward the outside.
Spendthrift's exciting first crop sire, More Spirit, represented by the number 9 Georgie Spirit, a first-time starter trained by Jorge Abreu. The 11 Binsky is entered main track only. Let's start things off with the number 1 Tell Me When, one of the experienced horses. She made her debut at Churchill Downs on dirt in a maiden claiming race, and she ran quite well that day, a 61 Beyer speed figure. This pedigree is very versatile. I think she's going to show speed from the rail with blinkers on.
I think so too. And Jose Ortiz picking up the mount for trainer Tim Ham, who's another guy who knows how to place a 2-year-old. When he brings them in from his Ohio base, he comes to perform. And as you mentioned, a versatile family under a very good turf sprint sire in Midshipman, the sire of that very good mare Lady Shipman and others.
Midshipman, of course, 15% winners with first-time turf runners, and this dam is a half to a stakes-winning turf sprinter. The number 2 is another second-time starter. That's Sugar Mama Cakery, and Steve Asmussen historically does excellent work with second-time starters. This filly made her debut sprinting on the dirt at Churchill Downs in a maiden special weight. Didn't have the easiest of trips, kind of fell behind early, raced wide. This first crop sire, Mendelssohn, should have success on the turf.
Absolutely. Mendelssohn, a globe-trotting runner by Scat Daddy. It's a precocious sire line, and Mendelssohn showed that when he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He was later multiple Grade 1 placed on dirt as a 3-year-old running in the U.S. I would expect him to be a versatile sire. He did just get his first U.S. winner sprinting on turf at Ellis Park.
Let's watch the debut of the 3, Factor That, who started at Gulfstream Park over the Tapeta surface. She showed high speed for trainer Mark Cassian. She fends off this even money favorite wide west on the turn. She's a little bit green, racing on her left lead and drifting out, but she did a lot of work in this race and is expected to improve.
Absolutely. Did a lot of work that you would think would move her forward from a fitness standpoint. I think her greenness can be forgiven and that she will improve with the experience. A lot to like here as Mark Cassian and Tyler Gaffalione team up. They've had a lot of success together in the past. The Factor by Warfront, another very good 2-year-old sire and turf debut sire, fitting in with the trends of his sire line.
This horse was expected to be fast. Speed in the pedigree, worked a furlong in 10 seconds flat prior to that $130,000 sale price in March, and she's expected to show speed again. The 4 is Shackled by Lust, another second-time starter. This one for Joe Sharp, who sent out some live horses already at Saratoga. Tell us about Good Samaritan, a very versatile horse that I think is an extremely promising young stallion.
Absolutely. Good Samaritan, I think, is very noteworthy because he's by Sire of Sires, Harlan's Holiday, of course, the sire of Spendthrift's reigning leading sire Into Mischief and others. Good Samaritan was a very good 2-year-old himself, winning the summer up at Woodbine on the turf and finishing 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Later moved to dirt to be a graded stakes winner and Grade 1 placed, a very versatile runner. And this one, Shackled by Lust, coming out of a maiden, won by the well-met Bolts and Rainbows at Churchill, and 3rd place Numero 6 from that race is running back on Wednesday, I believe, in our Spa Babies race. So you can use that one to help you evaluate the form of this maiden.
Numero Size is also a stablemate. Looks like they've worked in company on the turf on July the 15th. You're going to want to check out the clock reports produced by Mike Welsh and Company to give you more information there. The 5 is Margaret Burbage, the Wesley Ward first-time starter, and as you can see, there's a tremendous turf pedigree here. She is a half to a juvenile stakes place turf sprinter, and the dam is a half-sister to an Epsom Derby winner. Add in the fact that Twirling Candy is one of the best in the business with 2-year-old first-time starters, and you have a very dangerous contender with a Rat Ortiz up.
Absolutely. And, looking at this pedigree, I almost want to see this one going farther. Twirling Candy is also a classic sire. You've got an Epsom Derby winner in there in Chris Kin, but Wesley Ward, as we always talk about, knows how to have 2-year-olds razor sharp for debut and has a keen instinct how to place them, who to bring out at Keeneland, who will handle other tracks better, who to take over to Ascot. If he's unveiling this horse at the Saratoga meet, there's a reason. I've got to think that this is about the time he's thinking about who to target the Breeders' Cup with in just a few months now and how to progress backward from that.
Wesley Ward, of course, excellent with first-time starters. Bill Mott's excellent with just about everything. His numbers are slightly less with first-time starters. Often he likes to give them a race or two. We'll see what we get from the 6, American Rockette. By Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh, there is a lot of speed in this pedigree. She's a half-sister of Frank's Rockette, who's closing in on $1 million in earnings, a very good dirt sprinter. The dam was a graded stakes winner as a 2-year-old on synthetic and also won her career debut.
I think this is a really fun family. Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh, who of course was a 2-year-old champion himself to start off, has been very good with his 2-year-olds and very good with his turf runners. I like putting him on top of the family that produced that multiple graded stakes winner Frank's Rockette that you discussed. And this horse is very interesting on either surface, frankly. If we go as a turf sprint as scheduled, or if we get some rain and this moves to the main track.
The number 7 is Strut, trained by Graham Motion. And Graham, like Bill Mott, is an all-world horseman and occasionally will give his first-time starters a race or two. So it'll be interesting to see if this one is truly cranked up for her debut. You look at this pedigree. She's by Bernardini, and Bernardini is an excellent stallion, but they're better on dirt, only 3% winners from first-time turf runners. And Strut herself is a half-sister to a graded stakes place dirt sprinter. It's fascinating to me that Motion is debuting this one on the turf. He knows about the Bernardinis. Maybe he thinks she can step on the grass.
I think it's very interesting. And I was really intrigued looking at this horse's work tab. As you said, the Graham Motion barn, another outfit that perhaps likes to give them some experience before really cranking them up. But look at this work tab. This one has been firing bullets on multiple surfaces down at Motion's Fair Hill base. So I think this is a horse to keep an eye on.
Very good point. Excellent work tab coming up. 3 straight bullets, 1 on dirt coming out of the gate leading up to this race. The 8 is Determined Jester, a very expensive daughter of Practical Joke. She sold for $575,000, and no wonder. She's a half-sister to a stakes-winning turf miler in Bodecream, Calafante's group stakes place sprinting on the turf, and the dam's a half-sister to Breeders' Cup, a dirt mile winner Albertus Maximus, and of course Daredevil, a very good 2-year-old and a very good stallion.
A lot of 2-year-old ability in here. Practical Joke, Buy Into Mischief, a multiple grade 1 winner, including a couple of very good performances as a 2-year-old around 1 turn. You see Daredevil in there, another winner of the Champagne at that 1-turn mile at Belmont. I would love to see Determined Gesture going just a little bit farther, perhaps up to the mile and running on dirt. This is a horse I'm going to circle and watch later on because it's a beautiful pedigree.
Trainer Phil Schoenthal, a very reliable horseman on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. Don't sleep on the 8 Determined Jester considering this pedigree. The 9 is Georgie's Spirit by Spendthrift stallion More Spirit. And More Spirit was a very talented dirt horse, and I would expect his progeny to have speed.
Absolutely. More Spirit, winner of the Stallion Making Mile. He's got a couple of winners for Spendthrift already, including Velociter, a stakes placed sprinting in the Victoria on Woodbine's synthetic track. I do think More Spirit, being by Escandrea from that Giants Causeway sire line, ultimately probably going to be better on the dirt, but should have some ability to get a turf horse as well. This horse does have some local turf works.
This filly has lots to like because Jorge Abreu, it seems, year after year pops with a first-time starter on the turf at Saratoga. And I went back through some old Clocker reports that I saved, and it appears one of those workouts in late May at Belmont went in company with Lisa's Vision, who's a good older New York-bred turf horse for Jorge Abreu. We'll see her in one of the stakes races at Saratoga early this week. I have a feeling this one's live with Joel Rosario aboard. The 10 is another day gone by, and she's got plenty of experience. She's raced 3 times in her career, and we've seen incremental improvement with each start. Now, all of those races have been on the Tapeta surface at Presque Isle Downs, but as you can see, lots of European turf quality in the pedigree.
Absolutely. I think this one will prefer the turf to the synthetic. They're not always interchangeable surfaces as some handicappers treat them. However, I do think she's going to want a lot more distance, being by Travers winner V.E. Day, by turf champion English Channel, and with these very good grade in Group 1 performing turf horses in the pedigree that you see.
Binsky, the 11, has entered main track only, so it'll be time for our top selections for Thursday's Spa Baby race. Nicole, you're going with Factor That. She's got speed, she's got experience, she's got a great trainer in Mark Cassie.
Truthfully, I had a very hard time separating Factor That and Margaret Burbridge, the well-meant Wesley Ward debut starter. Ultimately, I went with Factor That because of the experience, because I feel that she's well drawn to use her speed. I think Margaret Burbridge ultimately is going to want to go a little bit farther. And I also considered the weather forecast. I think if this race does come off the turf, that Factor That has a little more versatility in the pedigree to handle a surface switch. But it was very hard for me to split my top 2 selections.
In multiple race exotics, I want to use the number 9, Georgie Spirit. I think she's going to run very well. I'm expecting Tell Me When to show speed from the inside under Jose Ortiz, and I think she has enough turf pedigree. You mentioned Midshipman's prowess with turf sprinters like Lady Shipman. I think she's going to run well at a pretty decent price. The 7 struck to me as kind of more of a single race exotic underneath horse for Grand Motion. Maybe we'll need a race. Won't be surprised if she comes running with a stretch kick. Nicole's going 3-5-6-7. I'm going 1-7-9-5. Should be a fun addition. Let's hope it stays on the turf. It's the final race at Saratoga on Thursday. Your Spa Baby event presented by Spendthrift.